Hello everybody, welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and on today's video, know your true self. So I have a very cool video today. It's actually about myself actually, but it's a story that I happen to remember about realizing God is in every moment and how the unfolding of every moment is actually one. It's a very simple story, but I don't believe knowing yourself has to be complicated, because God made everything. That means everything always leads back to said creator, and you're always the center of your life. So you realize, if I'm the center of my life, that means I'm the center of God, because I'm experiencing it from my specific center. And that is absolutely true. Each and every one of us is having a centered version from our point of view, because there's no boundary to God. There's just God, and you are always the center. Now, very fun story here. It's very simple as well, but the feeling that came about it was quite profound. Context: I was at the gym. I know that isn't me in the photo there, in the picture. That's a woman, but it was the idea of it in any case. Same idea, right? So I was at the gym. I can't remember what day it was. It doesn't matter. It's arbitrary. Probably a Sunday, because I'm remembering it quite empty, especially at the mall I was in, and it was quite late. Evening to mid-afternoon, late afternoon to evening, around that time, it was really empty. There was hardly anybody there. I can't remember if there's any cars in the car park either. But I was training till late, and once I finished, I obviously left, got in my car, and I went out toward the boom gate. Had my ticket, put the ticket in, boom gate went up, and as the boom gate went up, a beggar on the side of the road, nothing new in this specific area. In fact, the beggars are always changing in that area as well, which is quite a fascinating thing. As I drove out, I didn't expect it, but the guy who was begging on the side of the road put his hand up, smiled at me, and waved. And I just waved back, and then I instinctually wondered where my wallet was. And I checked the side of my wallet, the side of my pocket, or I looked down where I would normally keep it. I realized, oh, it's not there. Oops. I obviously forgot it on the treadmill or wherever I was working out, or whatever I did, I forgot it in the gym, or I dropped it somewhere. All possible simultaneous creation of past and present experiences. All are real. And in this moment, I didn't have my wallet on me. And now those images there, I just want to point them out, where that's kind of how we see reality. And we expect having come from one version, and then we create the future of that version being real, or we create the future of finding it including a past where that must have happened. A simple example with the wallet. In the version where I simply dropped it on the way out somewhere, by the car where I parked, or on the way there, or in the gym somewhere, the future projection now becomes me walking around looking for it all over the place, or maybe someone took it. You're creating the future version and the experience of that in your illusion of this now moment, and the past where that must now be true. You don't necessarily have to do anything with it. In fact, a lot of the time, you can't do anything with it up until you get to a certain point where you start to haphazardly look around the 3D for this thing, creating continuous experiences out of it. But if you look at that box, that's where all that is, just flat right with you. It's not anywhere else. It's a projection that you are creating forward and backward. And each time you create another projection forward and backward as a thought, and you believe in that thought, you're creating the experience forward and past where it must now be true. And because you are simultaneously that divine being center, they are all true. And you can experience any one of them. You are dead center in the middle of every single script then that you can experience. You don't have to do anything with those thoughts. And sure, I'm sure I had tons of them that I can't even remember. But what's really going on? You see, you are being projected and you are seeing through a viewpoint in the projection. The viewpoint that you are seeing through the projection is your physical self. So while that beggar and my physical self are coming from the same place, I'm only experiencing my specific viewpoint, and my specific viewpoint and the rest of reality is created in the self-awareness. I know I am in the projection. So my physical self knows it's in the projection while also knowing it is projecting the projection. So you follow the script. Oh, okay, I probably did this. And then whatever is natural in the moment, you just play out. You go along with it in the assumption that, okay, this is what I'm doing now. Then I went back into the gym, looked around, I found it wherever I found it. Again, you know that the projection is creating the experience, and you are experiencing the projection looking within. And the projection is coming from you, the real you, the one that is consciously aware. It's coming from that same awareness that you are, the same consciousness that you are consciously knowing anything. Realize the same consciousness is projecting that the reality that you are experiencing. And I found my wallet wherever it was. I believe it was on the treadmill, or I think it was on the treadmill, but wherever, right? So Source creating the idea of my physical self without a wallet, and then my physical self with the wallet. And everything in between is also Source of those experiences, bridging the gap between the two ideas. But it's also Source. It has no meaning other than your experiencing of it moving from one experience to the next. But they're all experiences. So the bridge of incidence to experience one and the other instantaneous now, because everything is an instantaneous now existence, happens together in what we experience as linear time. You see, our experiencing of these events is what we call linear time. But these things aren't happening within a set amount of time. However we experience those things and the time associated with them, we're the ones that give that meaning. It doesn't have a meaning outside of wherever we experience it. Now, after having my wallet, finding my wallet, I drove back out. And this was the interesting part to me that really woke me up to the moment that wasn't necessarily a mundane, oh, I forgot my wallet, let me go get it. Now, it's a very simple thing, trust me. I drove out again and had my wallet. And now I didn't expect this guy to realize, oh no, it's the same person I waved already, it doesn't really matter. So I drove out and now this time I was expecting the wave, so I was mentally about to wave back or whatever it was. And nothing, blank, didn't care. Didn't care that I was there. I was like, oh, okay, that was weird. And then you go off, as you do, and then I started contemplating what just happened. This whole 10-minute experience, or however long it was, where I went down the one place, and it was as if something was bringing my attention to not go home yet, not unfold that, but put your awareness onto realizing that you didn't have your wallet on you, go back, and then go home. Because the guy didn't greet me, I realized the unfolding of all of this perfectly, where I forgot my wallet. The reality literally changed before my eyes, where he waved, didn't wave, and I went on. There was a literal different experience over and over again. If he waved again, I probably would not have noticed the succinct closing of this looped experience to go on. But because he didn't, it was a very fascinating realization where you say, oh, something is always directing the unfolding, even if I am unaware of whatever's happening, and I would desire that to happen anyway. So it's that verse in the scripture where God hears you before you start speaking, and as you are speaking, he will continue to listen. I'm probably saying that wrong, but that's a scripture verse. But that's what it means, where even if you are consciously unaware of something, that something is happening as your higher self-awareness anyway. Your higher self-awareness knows it. So that's why you don't ever have to check or wonder if I'm going in the right direction, if I'm checking here, if I'm going there, if it's right. No, you don't know which way to go. Whatever you think is the projection of you going forward, it's not that anyway. Like I said, the first time I was driving home, I was projecting, in my thoughts were, my future in those thoughts were, oh, I'm just gonna go home now. But it wasn't that. Showing me that no matter what I think my future is from a 3D linear perspective, it is not that. Because the future doesn't come from the 3D linear perspective. And what I'm remembering my past to be, oh, I have my wallet in my pocket, is not the past that you are experiencing right now. It means nothing. All of those thoughts don't mean anything, because you can't tell what your past is, because you can't tell what your future is, and you don't go to that future and you haven't come from that past. You are always projecting yourself from right here and right now, from your own conscious awareness of who and what you say you are. So this is how it really looks. Those three pictures, just depicting the moments of realization there, right? Not necessarily every image that can possibly occur in those things, because obviously there's a lot more. Those three images exist simultaneously. There is no difference between them whatsoever. And you can rearrange them, it doesn't really matter. But you'll say, no, but you can't rearrange them because you only realized to go back because the guy waved at you. Yes, but that's only in those three specific frames, in that specific unfolding. My 3D self realized that in that frame. Any other frame, I would have realized it in a different way. It doesn't matter. It just so happened it was that frame. Because that's my path of least resistance in that moment. You can rearrange them where the guy doesn't say anything. I see that and I still remember, oh, I forgot my wallet. And on the way out, he waves and I wave and I go. And now you can imagine that because it just exists. You see, even though you experienced one, you realize the other also exists right now. And you realize if the other also exists, it doesn't exist in any kind of linear way. I'm creating the linear experience from a simultaneously existing existence. And it's always following who I am. So how does this relate to you then? Well, when you realize who you are within the projection, then you stop trying to fight or figure out or wonder why anyone or anything is saying something to you or why you are hearing it. Because if it's no longer your preference to be heard, that's the only amount of reasoning you would ever need. Someone saying something to you about life is like this, or you hear something that, fundamentally people are like this, or this is how you work hard and achieve this greatness. All of this, those are individualized, filtered experiences from a singular version of reality, from a singular three-dimensional experience, who does actually exist as an infinite version of themselves, and you don't have to listen to it whatsoever, including me, yours truly, right? You don't have to listen to me. I'm saying listen to you. That's the entire point of this. Listen to yourself. What is it you desire? And who are you in relation to what you desire? You are the source of it. I am who I say I am. So when you put your when you put your focusing and your attention on knowing my dream life is this, my dream experiencing is this is who I am. I am awareness. I am fulfilled in every single way, shape and form right now. I am awareness. As awareness, whatever I desire, I am that. Like in a very literal sense, I am the projection and the projector and the light of being and knowing that gives everything its physicality and experienceableness. I am that. So for wherever you are projecting yourself physically in the present, you bridge the gap, this non-existent gap. You create a bridge from wherever you are to that experiencing of fulfillment in your desire, and continuously over and over again experiencing yourself as that identity. So I'm saying basically use all of your experiences to know that you are awareness, because you have to be able to do that. because it comes from the same place. If you could not realize your I am awareness with anything, it will fall apart. But because you can, it won't. So I am your host, Reese. This is React Reality with Reese. Thank you all for being here. Much love, much light. Thank you for the wonderful comments that were coming in. Thank you for the liking. Thank you for the sharing. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the following. Thank you in general. Thank you for the emails. Thank you for following on TikTok. Thank you for following on Facebook. Thank you for joining the Facebook page. And I will see you all in the next one.